We're talking phones, social media, all over the news today after Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch said social media should be banned for under-16s. She's been supported by Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham, and earlier today, former Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng said use of social media apps should come with the same restrictions as cigarettes and alcohol. Would it work? I mean, that all sounds kind of quite sensible, doesn't it? It's like
it's a good start.
we don't let them drink and we don't let them smoke, and it's a good start. Would it work? Can you put it into practice?
What we have actually is Australia as the kind of precursor to if we do anything, because they've already done it. They started it in December with mixed results. I mean, quite a lot, you know, when kids want to be on social media, they will find a way. And what they've done is they've banned the use of certain platforms under an age, but of course now other apps are springing up because the kids are finding other ways of communicating or downloading or getting around the age restrictions.
And as parents, it's hard to keep up with that, isn't it, if you're not tech-savvy?
Totally. So you have to sort of have a pincer movement. And I suppose here, a blanket ban in schools would be a good start for me, because I think if kids spend, you know, 8 hours a day in school and they haven't got access to their phones, that's going to start to form quite a good habit. Then at the end of the day, you obviously hand back to the parents, and the parents might want to say, well, you can have a little bit of social media use or whatever. It's just getting them out of that habit. And I think if they think that all of their mates are in the same boat, it makes it a lot easier. It's when you're the kid that hasn't got access and all your friends have.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it, about parents saying, I'm not going to let my child have a phone. I think you then ostracise them from their peer group.
Yes.
I suppose it's about giving them the right tools and explaining things to them and saying, look, you're going to see things on there that aren't real. But, you know, not every parent is a good parent. Not every parent has time to do that. So, you know, I don't know how parents would play a part, but they can't completely do it on their own.
Well, I've got to say that Shane's girlfriend, who has a 14, well, she'll be 14 this month, her daughter, who's my step-granddaughter. I hate saying step-granddaughter because I think of her as a granddaughter.
Just say granddaughter.
Granddaughter. But she's brilliant with her. She's never stopped her having the phone, but she's put all these restrictions on. So her phone is literally worked by her mum. So at 7 o'clock, that phone goes off. It's nothing to do with her turning it off.
Even now she's 14?
Yep, it turns off. And then sometimes when they're with me, if we're all chatting, and then she'll go, Mum, can I just have another half hour on the phone? And she'll go, OK, and she'll set it for half an hour. And I think it's brilliant. And also, she's not moaned about it, because it's the way it's always been. And she has restrictions on. She knows everyone that's following her. And, yeah, it does take, I guess, a lot of hard work, and you do feel like that horrible, strict parent at times when she's going, oh, my friends are on it. Don't care. You're my daughter and I love my daughter.
I think that's the key, though, when you said that's the way it's always been, because then the girl gets used to it. But it's like you hear so many... You see so many parents, they're on their screens all the time. And it's
we
like,
have to be responsible for that. And I have to be responsible for that. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
but...
well, I think of myself as a teenager, and I know what we used to do to try and get away with things. You know, you tell your parents you're staying over at your friend's house, but you're actually out camping in the woods with the boys. And I think what's kind of the modern equivalent of that, I guess it's hiding apps within apps on your phone, so yeah, you can remove the phone.
I wouldn't know how to do that.
No,
so straight away, I go, well, I'm on the back foot here. If you were my teenager, I go, what do you mean hide an app within an app within an app?
I mean, you can get software as well that you can put onto phones that you know, parental software. But again,
I just remember, you know, having bottles of hooch in the park, you know, when we're 15 years old, 16 years old, and, you know, you're always going to find someone that's got access to something you want.
And I don't know how they're going to police that.
No, because the thing is, the minute you ban something, it just makes it even more desirable.
But the social
desirable to certain teenagers. That's the problem.
We need to still put more pressure, you know, regulatory-wise, onto the social media companies.
Well, interestingly, because it has been banned in Australia, and it said that Meta blocked nearly 550,000 accounts in the first days of the Australian under-16 social media ban. And it says children and parents won't be punished for infringing the ban. It's the social media companies who will face the fines.
But, you know, I read a piece...
That's how they enforce it. But then they just say that they're younger. They'll set up a new app and a new account, and they'll say they're older than they actually are. And that's how they
But then that's like saying, oh, well, let's not bother doing anything, isn't it? Because they'll always find a way. If you try, at least you can say you've tried.
But I read a piece at the weekend. There was a boy, I think he's now 17. He's got diagnosed PTSD. His entire life was, you know, upended by... He was in year 8, and one of his friends in the playground showed him a video of someone taking their own life online.
Wow.
Right. Why is that content online? Why is that allowed
to even get past that stage?
Yeah, that's just shocking to me, how that ever gets on there. Well, we're kind of still talking about social media, in a way, or screen time, and because there's new research out that's found that 98% of toddlers spend time on screens every day, with some parents reporting toddlers with speech problems now because of all this screen time. Some of them are on for 5 hours a day. You know, it's easy to judge when you go, well, I haven't got a toddler now, mine's grown up, and you know what it's like when you're busy or in a restaurant. Do you judge people if you see a toddler and they've got a screen, or mum or dad's given them the phone? Do you judge them, or do you think, well, they're just...
I don't judge them. I don't ever go, oh, that's shocking parents or whatever. But I do sit there and think it's sad if I'm in a restaurant and there's a family of 4 or whatever, and including the mum and dad, when they're all sitting there on their phones and scrolling and watching reels. And I'm thinking, why don't you just talk to each other, and especially your kids? I mean, you know, you're right. You know, when my kids were little, you walked in any restaurant and your little one's got handed a colouring pen and some colours, you know.
It's not that different.
But you still kind of were hoping, oh, that'll shut them up for an hour while we can have a nice meal. It's just we've moved on, technology-wise. But I do think it's sad that it's becoming like almost like a technical babysitter.
Yeah, I think it is like that digital dummy, isn't it? Because you're, you know, why can't we? I stole that from someone else. But why can't we just sit there and just kind of be in each other's company? Like, what is that constant need to be constantly seeing something and just scrolling or fobbing or whatever you call it?
Saying when you were in France recently, you saw families.
Well, I mean, the judgment was there straight away. We had like a family come in, a French family, sat down, 2 little kids right next to us, and straight away you think, oh, this is going to be quite chaotic.
Rolling your eyes at each other.
Well, and I was expecting them to get out the iPad and maybe, but that never happened. And the kids were so well behaved, and they actually didn't have anything. And they just sat there. They were just breaking bread out the bread basket and having their little drink, and they were fine. And the parents were interacting. And I thought,
there you go.
And
the parents were interacting.
The parents were interacting and talking to them and asking them. And it was just a really nice scene. And it's not one that you see that often, really.
I mean, the thing is, with a colouring book in a restaurant, you can still join in the conversation when you're, you know, doing that. But
you can help
if you've got a big old pair of headphones over you and you're involved in whatever it is on the screen, you're not. But when I see that in restaurants, I don't. Sometimes with that, if it's a particularly young child, and I think, OK, the parents have come out and they now want to have a chat, and the kid's eaten and they're a bit bored. I don't have a problem with that. But it's like I do see people with screens on buggies. You know, like so the child is going along and it's got the whole world, in fact, like birds and trees and sky and people, and all the baby is looking at.
Yeah, I've never seen that. That's terrible.
And that, I think, do you really need to do that?
The thing is, we didn't really have it, did we? So certainly not when we were kids. And then when Jack was younger, we didn't have things like you could clip to the buggy and things. So I think if we were young parents now,
we'd be saying,
would we be going...
Yeah.
Oh, put Peppa Pig on, or any other children's programme, of course, that you enjoy. So it is
the wooden tops.
Yeah, it is easy to be judgy, and also you do have children with specific needs. Maybe that there might be. It depends on what they're watching.
I was babysitting this weekend, and Miss Rachel is now my new best friend.
There you go, Miss Rachel. Colin's like, thank goodness for Miss Rachel.